What's up? We're live 1000%. What's up? We're the FREESTYLE on HamiltonRadio.net. I'm Ralphie Ryan, also known as DJ Noise. This is my boy, Billy the Kid, Mr. Funny Man.
Yep.
We're here a little bit ago, but you know, Billy had his fans. You know,
I had a fan.
The show before our show, had guests, and they noticed Billy. You know, as you know, they're walking out. We come a little late, so we give them time to get out.
Yeah.
You know, get out of the
we
circumference, the whole, and you know we intermingle, and you know some of them got wind that Billy was in the building, and that was Billy, and they came in, tried to take some pictures. You know what I'm saying?
I like the way you said that. They got wind that Billy was in the building. You know what I mean? Yes. Billy,
you know,
Billy the Kid.
Even though, let's keep it real. Billy was talking some mad shit about me here a second ago, but I still give him that utmost respect.
What had happened was that I read somebody's lips.
Get it right. Sit your ass down.
I read somebody's lips, man. They was like, she want to take a picture with you, and I didn't think it was registering right because I'm like, nobody want to take a picture with me. And sure enough, the lady pulling out her camera.
Remember,
she was like, I want to take a picture.
I'm the one that said, I said, yo, take the phone off. She wants to put the phone down. She's trying to take a picture of you. She's a fan. She don't want to take a picture of me.
Now listen.
He ignored me. He's like, oh, she don't want to take a picture with you. I'm like, I know this.
I didn't want to admit this, but I was talking junk about them when they left. I didn't want to admit it, but I'm gonna air it out on the air.
It was like some ass crack or some, some twerking.
The twerk team was here.
And when I came, it smelled like ass.
It smells like twerk and leather seats up in here. I said, you just smell. People were just twerking up in here.
And I just refined my comment by adding, it's smelling ass clap up in here. You know, just refine it, you know.
I take that back because one of them came up. It's like, I want to take a picture with you. I'm like, oh.
So I was like, yo, see, they're fans, and we weren't talking mad.
Nah. It was all sarcasm. I make sure that anything I say, like I could have said it while they was here. So I walked in just to get some laughs out of the staff. I said, "Oh my gosh, it smelled like straight twerk and booty shorts up in here." And
I gotta say,
and then one of the ladies from the previous show came back and was like, she wanted to take a picture with me, and it didn't register because I'm not used to people coming up to me wanting to take no picture because they recognize me or something.
Do you know that actually happened to me once? A couple of times. I was out and about in one place. I went into a store and the cashier was like, yo, you on the radio.
That's crazy.
I was like
yo,
me? Oh yeah, that's right. Yeah, I'm on the radio.
When I tell you I needed that in my life just now. You know what I mean? Like, it's been so cloudy and drowsy.
To me, listen,
this person just lifts my spirits.
It's humbling. It's humbling.
Yeah.
We were
Shout out to that lady. I ain't get her name or nothing.
I didn't want one, but I'll take one too. You know,
giving that to him.
You know, he threw a touchdown pass to you and
I wish I could
to me,
turn it
and it really
quick.
threw you alive. Like, here, you can have I guess you can have a one or two.
He touched yours. He threw mine. Yeah, kind of would have put.
Yo, man, y'all can't be disrespecting grand ladies, man. There were grandmas in here.
See,
that was grandmas.
I gave him shout out.
No, I'm talking about the ass crack, man. Them girls got sons your age, man. The grandkids, they come and whoop your ass, man. And I'm not gonna help you.
That's the first thing you said, and I ain't gonna help you. I'm walking off. Like I tried to tell you, I'm stepping right over you. But shout out to the ladies, man. I know.
At least I was trying to tell you, put the phone down so they can take a picture.
Now listen, I know the ladies. They do line dancing, and they did a very good routine. I did a show over the summer for the neighborhood. We did it in Dolly Homes, and it was pretty much like an outreach event. You know, so I was honored to be a part of that. It was vendors there. It was a positive thing for the neighborhood. The ladies came out and did their thing. And again, like it finally registered, who she was. But I'm taken by surprise because it's like, want to take a picture of me. I'm like, well, wait, what did I do? But it's such a surreal experience. It was like, yo, like you the comedian, Billy. I want to take a picture with you.
Doesn't that ever happen to you?
No.
Public?
No, it doesn't. Nobody wants to take a picture with me.
Really? Nobody? Oh man, listen. I mean, every time I see you out, or like every time we're here, and people get wind that you're here, they want to take pictures of you, and you never let it register. You know what I'm saying? Maybe because it's you're not used to
at all.
You're not used to it.
I'm not. I'm not, and again, like what it made me want to do was like it made me want to get to know her name, and like and I asked, I was like, well, what jokes did I say? Like what was I doing? Like, because it's interesting. I loved her. She had a beautiful smile, and it made me smile. Like her smile was contagious, and I'm like, somebody's happy to see
Man,
me.
don't lie. You were just shocked that somebody actually said,
I was nervous.
I want to take a picture. with you.
I was nervous. I didn't know how to respond to that. I don't know how to respond to that. So I'm like, I had to lock in and like,
listen,
what do real celebrities do?
Shout out to the people that wanted to take a picture with me this weekend. I was DJing at a private party, and people just, a couple of people came up and wanted to take a picture.
Yeah.
It's humbling. You know what I'm saying?
Like friends, I see that. They like, stand still.
Friends, I always friends. It's I don't. Yeah. It's always I can be at one of my jobs, I just got the music. He just started playing subtle in there.
That music's cool. Like that.
It could be one of my jobs, either past or present. There's people. Oh my God, it's Ralph. Let's take a picture. You know what I'm saying? Like, and it's just one of my boys. One of my friends. So I definitely.
I'm glad I ain't got no problems, like out in the street and they be like, "There you go, right there. You're here in the picture, man."
Yeah, there you go.
He with my aunt, man. We about to go get him, But again, man, it was very, very, very humbling, man. So, but shout out to the line dancers and shout out to the show that was on before us. I shot a little bit of sarcasm, man. And listen, if they see me on stage, they know exactly what I do. They know what I do. They know what I'm about. So that's nothing new.
But I thought it was funny. You said it's
hilarious. Yeah, it was hilarious, man.
like yes.
Yo, and listen, like,
but in all seriousness, it does not. It was a little bit of sarcasm.
Listen,
it does not.
If they were still here, I wouldn't have left it just at that. I would have kept going. I would have spun it, so much because I want to get the laughs. I want to get the reaction. So like, if I ever
maybe you
laugh,
foot
like,
up your ass.
Yeah, that too. I'm taking a chance with these jokes. You can either laugh
foot up your ass.
But like, if I ever said a joke and like made everybody
listen,
laugh,
I gotta listen. Since
appreciate it.
I got a quick question. We're quickly just talking about you. As a comedian, have you ever told a joke that somebody actually took to heart and almost wanted to kick your ass? I don't think anybody's ever asked you that, huh?
No, it's a two-way thing. Right?
When somebody comes to a show that you are in the building, this goes for every comedian. Does the audience have to assume that, and this is, does the audience have to assume that they're there to get picked on due to picking on with you, or or they have to be, or they expect not to be a part of the show?
You gotta know your crowd. Like at a comedy show, like you'll get the ones with the stone face. As a comedian, if you're good, your goal is to focus on that person that's not smiling. Everybody else is smiling. You're doing your job. But that one that's just not smiling, your attention's just on them. It's like something like if you got OCD and like something's like you want to clean it. So the person that's not laughing, you got to say something to them. Now, you could chip away at them at first. They're going to be resistant. I ain't coming here for that. And then you spin it. And a lot of times you find out that they wanted the spotlight on. They're like, wow, somebody mentioned me. Somebody said my name because the spotlight is on them. And then it's a fine line. That's why I said you got to know your crowd, because I did a rap show one time and I forgot that it was a rap show. And none of these people came to see a comedian. And when I went into a couple of jokes, one of the guys that was there was like, not today, Mr. Funny Man. And it registered just that fast. It hit me just that fast. Like, okay, I got to know my crowd. This crowd is just here for whatever they're here for. So let me just do the MC thing and just get straight to the point. At the end of the day, I don't want problems, with a person. I've actually took things that were sensitive in the news. This is what comics always push the envelope. I push things that were sensitive to the news and I put a spin on it to make them forget. Like I address that, but forget about what's going on. It's like somewhat trying to find a humor in something that's dark. Like you're going to hear some Whitney Houston jokes. You're going to hear some George Carlin jokes. You're going to hear some Kurt Cobain jokes. And it all depends on your context. Like you're speaking about them derogatory and like you're slandering their name. Yeah, that's bad. Don't speak ill will on the dead. Like you said something like, Jimi Hendrix is up in heaven and Tupac. You made it funny.
No, I'm trying to say, I want to know if not like that. I'm trying to say,
Like, did
Have you
anybody
e-
ever want to fight me?
yeah, like,
after a
close
show?
close to that
Listen,
one guy. Yeah, I mean,
What will happen now at that rap show? I knew
This is the
at the
great
rap
you gotta
show.
cut that.
At the rap show I did, and I made the joke to the guy because he had on the pink. I still remember what he wore. He had on the pink shirt. I knew my limit because I'm like, all right, this is not a comedy show. They're not here to see this. I would be a fool to keep going on. I'd be a fool because now I'm picking on him, and he's not here for that. He's not here for that. But it's the complete opposite. The person that you mess with, they could be big, 7 feet, 300 pounds. They will meet you backstage, and they shake your hand, and they go, man, you were funny. I can't help that, my pants are tight. They'll mess with their own flaws. They know what they're there for, and it's the complete opposite. And I'll mess with them all 15 minutes. One of the first shows that I did, I forgot my lines, and I wasn't used to the heckler. And I knew nothing about the heckler. So it was a table of women, and they started heckling me. So I gave them a warning. I said, I'm trying to remember my lines. I said this on the microphone. I said, if y'all make me forget my line, I'm going to make this show about y'all. And the girl was like, boo! So I walked off the stage, and the whole spotlight followed me to their table. And I just went from girl to girl to girl to girl to girl, all the way to when they gave me the light. But the crowd is cracking up. That saved my show. If I would have just did my regular set, I would have bombed. I would have sucked. But the fact that I said, scratch all of that, let me focus on them, because I'm good at talking about people. That's when I learned how to work the heckler. And now I can work them and get back to where I need to be. But I didn't know that then. And I regret, that's the only thing I regret, is not being able to get back to my set. I made it all about them, but it brought the crowd back to me. Right after that show, I stayed after they're playing the music and everybody's jamming, and it's a wave of women walking towards me. That table that I was messing with, all of them got up, and they were just walking in unison to me. It's like me and like 2 other dudes. And I'm like, if it go down, like, these women would beat us up.
They would
It's like 10 women. And they came up to me, and the first thing the girl did, I had on a button-up shirt. The first thing she did to me was she opened my collar and she looked in. And I lied to you not, she looked back at the other girl. She said, he's good, girl. He has on a tank top. He has on an undershirt. Because they said, if you didn't have on the undershirt, we was about to start it up again. Because apparently they got jokes too. But that broke the ice. The girl was like, I don't know why you even said nothing about me. It was her. Like, it wasn't even. Then they all start blaming each other, and it became funny. Like, their friends got acquainted with my friends. We all stayed there and talked on the dance floor, but that's what happens.
Ruben,
It's nothing personal.
turn the music down.
Like, and if anybody felt like I offended them or whatever, but I never get that. I never feel like I never found myself in a position where I had to
Ruben,
apologize
turn that music down.
to anybody after a show. I've never had to apologize to anybody. I've never had to go up and say my apologies, or I didn't mean to, say that. It was always understandable. I'll get a person like who won't laugh. Like, I'll mess with them and they won't laugh, but then they'll say something back to me. That's how I know that they're in their feelings. They're like, well, you get this other joke.
Billy.
So I can work with them
I
and
gotta ask you,
still be where I'm at.
how was your weekend?
My weekend.
Without making this all about you.
No.
Because we're already in.
Look, the
10,
reason
15,
why it's
20
not going to
minutes.
be about me.
No.
The reason why it's not going to be
10
about me
minutes about
is
it.
because it was plenty going on this weekend. It was a lot of shows, and I didn't go to any.
You
I
just
didn't.
take the week off or the
Yep.
weekend
Yeah.
off?
And trust me, people are still asking me when am I getting back on stage? When am I getting back to Champions? When am I doing the skits? And it's coming. Like I took a nice little break, and I don't care. I'm relaxing. I'm not missing. I don't feel like I'm missing anything. It was a lot going on this weekend. Shout out to everybody that had an event. I was there in spirit. How do they say? I might not have been there physically, but I was there in spirit.
I guess.
I was very aware.
I don't know if there's any other
of what
way you
events
put
were going on. Will Wright, all of y'all. Will Wright, Nina, everybody. I saw y'all events going on. Shout out to y'all, man. I did try to promote as much as I could. But, I'll be back. I'll be back next weekend. I actually be in Bordentown at Open Arts Pack. Me, Top Flight, EJ Nonstop, Ty Jameson with Justice and Tanyelle with Supreme Alliance. So you could get a chance to catch me back,
I
man.
definitely am going to do a show there one of these days.
You need to. Have you been in there? Yeah, that's a nice play area. They got nice props. They got the mini balcony. It's a balcony, but it's a mini balcony. I've never seen a mini balcony before. Like, it's a balcony, but you can walk on to the balcony. Like, balcony is like head level, but I don't know how to explain it. It's still a balcony. It's a little balcony, like 2 little porches.
So how was your
Yeah, that was it, man. Yo, I took it easy, man. But I spectated a lot on Facebook. Like I seen everybody's events. Again, like listen. Understand me. I don't feel bad about not making y'all events. I don't because I was chilling. I'm just trying to get my mind right. But I paid attention to everything. I saw your flyers. I saw the comments. I saw the turnouts. I spectated and I was okay with that, man.
Sound like this thing moving like it's on dial up.
You know, so I'll see y'all eventually, man. But yeah, man, my weekend was cool. What's up, Jessica Roman? I see you. Right off the rip. Top fan. She get the top fan badge right now. But how about you though?
Don't let Jay hear that. You know how Jay is. Jay will chime in anytime soon.
Yep. It'll be a battle. It'll be a battle with the top fans. Yeah, how was yours?
My weekend, I DJ'd Saturday night.
Where?
In Jackson. I DJ'd. I was supposed to DJ another party in that area, but that didn't go through. I worked Thursday night. I actually work this Thursday night, so that should be interesting. It's gonna be Halloween. I work the door, at an establishment.
Yeah, it's definitely gonna be interesting. Y'all, they doing a costume party or no?
I don't know. I mean, I don't. I'm assuming that even though it's if they're not having one, if they are having one, yes.
How do you?
If they're not having one, I'm pretty sure. I'm assuming that some people are still gonna dress up because it's Halloween.
How do you pat down a headless horseman? How do you check their pockets?
I mean, I don't do the pat down. So I mean, I used to help pat down the guys, but I'm there for the presence. I'm there for I think like a
crowd control.
Crowd control. I'm there to keep with my experiences and what I've done. I've balanced. I've done security even though I'm a short, stocky dude. I've done security.
That's the first thing you say, even though I'm short.
Listen, I keep it real. I mean, there is there's a couple things that I know, and I know I break people in pieces.
I don't. It's still funny how you said it. He's like, yeah, I do security even though I'm short. It don't matter.
But I know how to break people in pieces, and back then, somebody referred me. Like how they told the story. Oh, my daughter goes out with this guy. He was trained to make bombs, and he'll literally blow your hands up or blow you up. And then he goes, and my other daughter's boyfriend, will, break you in pieces.
So it's like either way, these guys got resumes. Yeah, they both come with decorated.
Many years ago, but that was a Shout out to Tara. That was kind of a detail. Listen. I can hold my own. I know a couple more. I know a couple more styles of martial arts.
Don't beat up the headless horseman. Come on, man. They just want to have a good time.
But I'm saying
man, you beat up.
No,
Santa
but
Claus,
I am 1000% really, really effectively and good at checking IDs. I study, I sit there and study them after you see your first couple. I used to work at a liquor store.
If you wasn't doing security, would you be taking your kid out for Halloween?
I am doing it.
All right, so you're doing that, and then you work. All right, your night is pretty much solidified.
Yeah, that's my plan. That's initially, I told my direct manager, boss, Matt is, head of security, that was what I was going to do. That I was going to go in later, a little bit later, like maybe 9:30. That's basically basically the time I'm always going in to take out my kids for trick or treating. Right. So, I gotta do it. I don't miss it, unless I'm working, which is really, really rare. I try not to miss, Unless I'm sick, I try not to miss it. It's something that, I don't remember going out with my mom, or my father. My father was never there for me.
Right.
So, I want my daughter, my son to remember that, I want them to remember going out. And I do remember going out, but, I grew up in a different time. I grew up where, neighborhoods could leave the doors open, from one end to another. I grew up, where society was still bad, but it wasn't as bad as it is
Not to
now.
say that it wasn't happening, but now it's
it's
for sport. Like, please pay attention to
yeah,
your kids.
like I used to
Be mindful,
I used to
pay
go
attention.
trick or treating by myself as a kid. I used to go. I used to come home with bags. I mean, like I said, we lived in a different time. People had more money then. Now you're coming home with a bag like this.
Tic Tacs.
Going in a neighborhood that
Pack of
got,
gum.
I don't take my kids around my neighborhood because my street doesn't have a sidewalk. Well, some of it doesn't have a sidewalk. So we leave the neighborhood and go other places. Wherever we feel, hey, this is adequate enough. Seems like a good neighborhood. We get out, take our stroller, and we go. That's what we do. That's what we did last year. That's what we did last year, and that's what we're doing this year. So it's we did last year with my son. He was little still. He was like a month old, but and it wasn't cold. People say, "Oh, you're crazy, you're crazy." I mean, had it been cold, we would have not taken them out.
Right.
Or I would have stayed in the car, drove. Let the wife, walk with my daughter. But it wasn't cold. The weather was, like how it is now. How it was yesterday or Saturdays. Yeah, this whole weekend it was raining, but the weather was nice.
Warm, yeah.
Like it was really nice. Like
Yes, it was.
it was. I gotta say, it was unseasonably nice. Like it was chilly, but it was like warm. Like it was like I was going out. Look, dude, I was taking the trash out, and with no shirt. Like it's like today, like yesterday, like the last 3 days, maybe 3 or 4 days. It was really, really nice. Unseasonably nice.
Yeah, some tropical pressure from somewhere.
So it was like that last year. So we were able to take him, out. He didn't know any better, but it was just that moment. We remember taking him out his first Halloween. Same thing with Isabella. We had her. She wasn't even a month old, and we dressed her up. We didn't go to house to house. We went at a couple houses, friends, and then we went back home. She was a baby. This is a couple years back, 11 years ago.
I mean, now they got the trunk or treat, and that's an option too.
Yeah, I have that with my daughter tomorrow. I have to leave work, rush home, and change into either whatever I'm gonna wear or get into my dad clothes.
Trunk or treat is a very good option for people who they don't want to
just
play
don't
around.
want to take their kids.
Yeah. They don't want to play around with all of that. Strangers knocking on doors and stuff crazy. Let me go ahead and do these trunk or treats because I know what I'm getting.
I actually think that's the scariest thing. People think about this. This is Halloween. You take your kids out trick or treating, and you're always wondering about one thing. You're always wondering about the kids. A couple things. Kids getting hit by cars. Knock on wood. Because people don't know how to drive.
Yeah. Man, speed and acting.
People.
Crazy, There's a lot of kids out there at night. A lot of kids.
People getting snatched up. Or the candy being poisoned. But you're like you said, people walking up. Your kids are walking up to perfect strangers' house. Just for 1 second. If nobody ever thinks, what if the guy or the person putting the candy out is the one that you need to worry about?
It's like a purge. It's almost like purge. Like that in particular night, kids across America are free to just go trespass, go to people's property and all this. Now every day we teach our kids not to talk to strangers, don't walk up to people's houses. And this one in particular day, it's just like go knock on the doors, just house to house.
But you still have to be, you still have to be vigilant. You still have to be, mindful. In a time to where we live in, where kidnappings, abductions are, going, becoming an epidemic now.
Keep your kids together. Don't let one run ahead.
Keep them together.
Houses.
Of course, be mindful of the cars. You know, be mindful of the candy. You know, be vigilant of your surroundings as well. But watch your kids. You know, watch your kids because you know at the end of the day, that's what we
I
have.
know I'm checking candy. I'm checking candy because I'm eating half of it. That's my way to check.
You know, that's what we have. You know, like that's why just gotta be vigilant. You gotta be, you know, not saying you gotta be scared. You gotta be, you know, gotta be. Don't be naive and inconsiderate about your surroundings, basically.
It's like, listen, if you're driving,
Don't ignore your
listen,
surroundings.
if you're driving, slow down because it's a whole bunch of kids that's going to be
Exactly.
out there, especially at nighttime. As far as the candy, check the candy. If wrappers are half open or looks like something is bitten, use common sense. Throw that in the garbage. It ain't like they don't have other candy up in there. And don't let your kids go 5 houses ahead. Don't go out with 5 kids. And you know, every group has that one kid that has to be ahead of everybody else.
Make sure you have enough adults.
Exactly. Don't let one kid go 5 houses up to be in competition with the other kids. No kids cross the street by themselves. Everybody stay together as a unit.
Halloween doesn't necessarily have to be, you know, a stressful time.
No,
Halloween
it doesn't.
Is about, like you said, the kids get to dress up and go ask for candy. You know, for the next couple of weeks, your kid's gonna be on a sugar rush. You know, just enjoy the last night, but you're gonna be peaceful for a while.
Listen.
You know, enjoy that walk.
Listen.
It's gonna drive you nuts for the next couple of weeks.
Halloween is the tip of the iceberg. I don't even want to bring this up, but the real problem night was mischief night. That was the night before Halloween.
I don't even think that exists no more.
What, mischief night?
I mean, listen. I mean, let me take that. And
my voice went up. Mischief night.
Let me take that back. And let me offer it out again as, yes, does it exist? People say it does, but Mischief Night is not what it used to be. Let's just put it this way.
Listen,
Mischief Night back then
last Mischief Night
used to be bad.
Somebody rode around with a paint gun and shot up all my neighbors' cars. Well, no, they didn't even shoot all the neighbors' cars. I actually felt like it was isolated because it was like 2 cars that got hit. 2 in particular.
I mean, maybe in the hood, Mischief Night is worse. I mean, I would wake up seeing paint on people's cars, spray paint, toilet paper, you know, windows broken. I mean, trash cans.
Dumb tradition.
You know, trash cans all kicked. You know, don't let it be garbage. Don't let it be garbage night that night, because all your trash is gonna be all over the place. You know, eggs at cars, egged up, complete.
Hard to get out.
Just imagine the mischief nights that I've heard back in the day. Complete cars covered in complete egg, like 1 or 2 cartons wasted on just one car, maybe 3 egg cartons.
Man, look, we hit the cop.
And we're talking about
we hit the cop car with eggs. Listen,
water balloons,
young and dumb, and now that you get older, it's like your biggest fear. Like,
people
whose kids are gonna
stealing
get me?
like, mascots, just people stealing cars. It was just
major breaking into schools,
breaking into people's houses, breaking in the house,
schools,
cars,
taking tests, all type of stuff.
Breaking into schools.
Nothing is off limits. That's the purge night. That's literally purge night.
Mischief night used to be one of those nights to where you get with your friends, you talk about what you're gonna do, and you never talk about it again.
Never again.
For the next lifetime.
Yep. You take that with you. You take that with you. No incriminating ever.
Needless to say, I didn't partake in any mischief night.
I did.
I didn't go egg people's houses. I didn't break people's windows. I didn't do, I actually stayed in the house that night because I knew the cops were gonna be out that night. The smart shit is what we did was the night before mischief night was our mischief night. So if you were waiting for us on
got you early,
we got you a day early, 24 hours before the cops hit us, and you could, be in your bed not expecting us. So on mischief night, you would wake up already, or the day of mischief night. When you wake up, your mischief has already been done.
Listen, I'm 2 things. I'm cheap and I'm broke. So if you egg my car, sadly, I got to ride around with that for the next month. Or at least till it rain. Like, yes, rain. Thank you.
But those mischief nights were epic. I'm not gonna lie. I mean, like I said, I didn't go around and do the crazy, the crazy, unspeakable things, we went out the night before, but we did whatever. We did toilet paper, eggs. It wasn't to where, you had to question the rest of your life. If am I gonna go to prison for the rest of my life? It wasn't on that.
Yeah.
Mischief Night wasn't that big for me. It was a girl. Like I said, I grew up in a different time. It wasn't for me.
Yeah.
I didn't believe in going to do vandalism or destroy someone's house, because I knew I had nothing.
I'm gonna be honest. My brother was my last Mischief Night before my brother, rest his soul, had passed away.
Don't get me wrong. I did. Oh, this person's being a dick to me in school. All right, I got your ass.
Yeah.
But I didn't believe. Listen, unless I'm gonna say this. With me, if you pushed my buttons hard enough,
Mischief Night was specific. Night. It was specific for you.
It was a specific. I was gonna come and kick your ass. You know what I'm saying? I wasn't gonna wait for Mischief Night to egg your house. Yeah. I will try to kick your ass.
Yeah. And then you get egged.
And then you get egged as you're standing there, or you get your, I don't know. Like I said, we grew up in a different time. We didn't grow up in a time where you have to be sensitive about things. We grew up without cell phones.
I'm glad you said that. Because a lot of things are getting sensitive these days, and
everything's sensitive.
Listen, give it a little bit amount of time. It ain't gonna be a Halloween. It's not even gonna be a Halloween no more.
If you take a shit, it's got to be sensitive now.
Listen, it's not gonna be a Halloween. They're gonna do away with Halloween. And you know what? And the kids, and they're out, and it's late, and I can see that. It's gonna get regulated heavily, like some type of curfew. Like, all right, Halloween starts at 2:30. It's over at 5 p.m.
Listen, I gotta say, these ridiculous, bylaws or rules of Halloween. I definitely understand. I don't agree with them, but I definitely understand. They got to set out curfews.
Yeah. Don't come knocking on my door at 10.
12 o'clock at night.
Yeah, boy. Listen, do not knock on my door at 9:30. What do you guys think? Regulate Halloween. We're reading a message right now, people. What do you guys think? Guys regulate Halloween. What do you think that would do? Regulating Halloween.
Why? It's the question is, what do you think about them regulating it?
I feel like I look at.
I mean, they're basically taking away, part of a child's childhood. I mean.
All right. I mean, well, look at the things. Let's say
if you have your let's say if you set a curfew at 8 o'clock, the government sets a township, town, city. State sets a curfew at 8 o'clock, and the parent gets out at 6:30 or 6 o'clock or 7 o'clock, and that child only has an hour, basically to rush to take the child out.
I mean, if
that's the only thing.
If that's the case,
only thing I disagree with.
What was your child doing for all of those hours? Why you?
Maybe they were with a babysitter. Maybe put your person. Let's put yourself. Maybe that person is a single parent. And the child's with the babysitter. Oh, I just got home from work at 7 o'clock. You got to be mindful.
No real justification though to still have a kid out, man. 8:30, 9 o'clock. Like I feel like anything after 9 o'clock that's inside the costume, don't run up on me.
Well, I mean, when I grew up, I was knocking on people's doors till 10 o'clock. I mean.
Yeah, but again, this is this is a different time. Do not run up on me dressed.
I understand.
Listen. The last thing I need to see at 10 o'clock is a little thing dressed like Chucky. I will kick your baby smooth across the street.
But hear me out. How the hell do you have? Oh, you put some. Okay.
Elixir.
So I see how you get past the rules.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, they said as long as it's in a water bottle. They didn't say that it had. They didn't say
you can't spike it with.
Yeah, it's dirty water.
Make it fruity tasting water. Yeah. What is that bad? He's got.
It's vitamin.
What is that bad? He's got a flavor.
It's vitamin water.
He makes it. He puts some added. He puts some food coloring in there. Says vitamin water to make it taste better. Isn't that beat?
But
See, at least I got water.
But I think what would happen is the same thing that we see happening with everything. What isn't getting regulated? Comedy. Comedy's getting regulated. You can't really say anything.
Well,
Women,
I don't think comedy will ever get regulated.
listen.
Yes, it'll get regulated. Maybe on TV, maybe at certain shows. But as long as the comedians continue to tell jokes, go on YouTube.
That's just freedom of speech. It doesn't start or stop there. Like they're regulating, let's say like tampons or maxi pads now. Now they don't even want the box to say for women anymore. Did you know that? Maxi pads.
Well, I mean,
they wanted to appeal to transgenders too, which now got women in the uproar, who are now they're like, women are in the uproar because they're like, wait a minute, they're violating too many things. But it's like when it was violating guys, it was cute, it was adorable, it was even funny. But now that it's kind of violating, y'all start like, why you gotta take the women off of maxi pads? This is what we go through naturally. No, shut up. Take that L. Hold that L all year. But you don't know who are the people sitting at the table to regulate these things. But somehow, with some quiet, mysterious vote, it gets passed through. Like in the next couple of weeks, maxi pads are going to say for all people.
Well, I mean,
and we know who they're for.
Maybe they have to be. I guess what is it? What's that word? I keep losing that.
Politically correct or
we have to
what?
Be,
no,
it doesn't.
Yes, no, it doesn't.
We have to be politically
correct. Pads.
We have to be.
Who else wear pads besides some women?
Again, I'm gonna go back to what I said a second ago.
But that was regulated.
2 minutes ago. I grew up in a different time where I didn't give a shit about political correctness. I still don't give a shit about political correctness. Don't think that I disrespect anybody or I'm meaning to disrespect anybody by saying I don't believe in political correctness. Listen, I've lived a long time. I grew up thinking a different way. Government and society has got me thinking, hey, I grew up going to church. I grew up, following God's laws. I don't, like I said, I mean no disrespect, but I just don't see myself as ever being politically correct. I don't give a shit if a politician in Washington that I may never see in life will tell me, hey, you got to be nice to this person.
Now dig this. You see how you said you don't give an F about being politically correct. It's going to be us versus them.
But see, how I see it is,
the offended.
How I see it is, I'm going to respect you as you respect me. If you respect me as an individual, I'm going to respect you as an individual.
That's common sense. You know what that's called?
That's it.
Common sense and common courtesy. Listen, I feel like as adults, we should be able to tell the difference. Like if somebody talks about somebody because of like their sexual preference or like a disability, yeah, that's hate speech. That also leads to hate crime because now that pollutes the mind of other people that might cause bodily harm to this person just because that person is different. Then you have people who embrace all their differences. It's like not only will I talk about the person with the disability, but I'll talk about this person, because their ethnic background. I'm gonna talk about myself. See, because we see the flaws in ourselves inside those people. We're all equal, that's when you laugh about it. We're grown. You could tell the difference.
See, I grew up in a different time again, where I had friends from different backgrounds.
Yeah.
Different sexual preference.
Yeah.
And
this is a whole different generation.
I didn't need to be politically correct to accept them for who they were. And as I accept those as who they are today, I don't need to be politically correct. You know what I'm saying? I respect people. You know what I'm saying? Respect has nothing to do with political correctness. Yes, people say, hey, yes, it's the same shit. No, it's not.
It's not.
It's not.
It really is.
Political correctness is you gotta adhere to. Listen, I'm not
somebody's standards.
I'm a poor ass dude. Well, all right, we'll say I'm a lower middle class dude that's just scraping by in life in society. Doing anything that I can to pay the bills and keep my house and keep myself working and keep myself alive, to look after my kids, take care of my wife. why do I have to be politically correct to society when society has been bad to me at times? You know, I've been thrown as a kid. I was thrown in jail for something I didn't do. You know, so now I pay my taxes. I help society. I help communities. You know, whatever I can do and help, I give back. I do. I'm just not. I don't think I see myself to ever being politically correct.
Now, in my case,
I just respect people. I just respect me. I grew up. Maybe because I grew up on a high standard of respect.
Mhm.
You know what I'm saying?
Even having nothing, it still never stops. You can have nothing down here material wise, but your level of respect and dignity and common sense and common courtesy could be up here. That's the stuff that you can't buy. You can't purchase. You can't buy common sense. You can't buy common courtesy. You can't buy gratitude. You can't even buy love. These are things that wealth just can't buy.
I think my level of respect probably outweighs the cost of gold. That's
of course.
Just, I mean,
and that's something that you have, a quality that a lot of people don't have. There's somebody with millions of dollars that lack those qualities, and those millions of dollars mean nothing to them.
1,000%.
Mean nothing. Why do you think somebody
just imagine
that's
if
rich can kill themselves?
I had the millions.
Listen.
The stuff that I could do.
Somebody that's rich can kill themselves. They can kill themselves because they don't like the way life is going. People are treating them bad. Person that has nothing, humble as I don't know what. And just because that person has nothing, or like let's say this person is rich, but this person is homeless. Okay, the person that's rich can be a complete idiot to common sense. A lot of that money could probably be inherited. You don't know how they got that. That's theirs. But the person that's sleeping on the ground, you don't really have a right to step over them because their condition or position in life. Some of these people, you run up on them and you actually listen to them, they would drop jewels on you.
Oh, yeah. Some people are really highly
jewels on you.
But see, you know the thing is,
and change your whole perspective on life.
The homeless, people don't know who the homeless is. You know, because we often see them as less desirables in society.
I'd never take them for granted. Never. I would never take them for granted.
But you need to see how I see, how I'm seeing how I'm looking from different people's. I'm looking from society's view that they see them as less desirables.
Stupid. And that's dumb.
Just like society. When a black woman disappears, or a Spanish person disappears, or a Spanish woman disappears, or an Indian, Native Indian woman disappears, it really the level of response is delayed versus a white woman, disappearing. You know what I'm saying? You get what I'm saying?
Oh no, of course. I mean, because all right, listen. Whether you're out in Hamilton, Robbinsville, whatever, you got priority calls. Now, these people, they pay their taxes. Everything is on time. Good drinking water. Cops' response time in Hamilton is impeccable. They're at your house before you even hang up.
I'm not talking about in Hamilton.
No, I mean, listen.
Hamilton's got this shit together.
In the broad spectrum. Now you had these same calls. Now at these same calls, the same exact calls. One response time is going to come faster, but the other one's going to come later.
Hold on.
Due to priority.
I got to add to what I was saying. Now, we see how the level of response is lacked for, minorities in America. Now, take a homeless person. You call the ambulance on, or call the cops on a homeless person. This guy is just same old. You know what I'm saying? The compassion.
It's almost like it ain't taken seriously.
The compassion and it's how I said it's delayed. The response is delayed. The care and concern is delayed for minorities. The concern and delay is less cared for the homeless. You know what I'm saying?
I dig.
And it's sad. Society views homeless people as
this where I gotta stop
the
you.
bottomless tier. Hold on. And some of us, we don't take for granted because I was there at one time.
And that's the thing. Now, thing is that.
And you said people are smart. People are smart.
The
people out there are.
The thing is the place. It's the place where you'll find blacks and minorities that'll get the least response time, because you get those same black and brown people, but they live out here. They're gonna get the same response time that these people have, which is fast. It's the area that you actually
Well, yeah,
it's the
it's
area
true.
that you live in. Because it
Some-
could be a white person that live in Trenton and they got that same car. And they're going to get a slow response
Well,
time.
I mean, yeah. Listen, I gotta say, more or less, Jersey has, you know, I'm not just saying Hamilton. I'm saying Jersey in general has, you know, their shit together. I mean, listen,
I see it state
there's-
to state. I see it state to state,
there's, you know,
not just New Jersey.
I'm only saying because I've only lived in Jersey,
Right.
and my experiences across different townships, cities, how cops respond, how they handle things. Certain cops, you know, are relaxed. You know, they take their time. You know, absolutely Hamilton. You call Hamilton, they're there. You know, they're there in force. That's one thing I gotta say. Hamilton's always been there. Like,
You know what
on
I
top.
never seen in Hamilton was like real undercovers are a tactical team, the tactical narcotics force.
Well, when you
Trenton definitely got one. Trenton definitely got them. And they don't dress regular. They don't dress in uniform.
you see them when you need to see them.
Do you?
when there's a raid, or there's
They be dressed like you, kinda. You know, they got the hat backwards, got the little hoodie on.
They'll have the mask on.
No.
have the
That's
bulletproof
why
vest.
narcotics, tactical. They just got a vest. They got a vest with a hoodie. They dress like plain Joes with a baseball
yeah.
cap on and the hat is backwards. They ready to run. They ready to chase. If you,
Of course.
they the
of
narcos.
course.
They the
I'm
ones
saying-
that drive inside
I'm
them
saying
Chevy Caprice and
Some
all
of those
that
you
stuff.
you don't see them because they're too busy.
Yeah.
You know, in doing things. They're too
Listen.
busy working. You know what
I'm
I'm
just
saying?
saying, it'd be cool to see it in Hamilton sometime. Oh, look, you guys got a tactical narcotics sports team too that jump out on people.
Listen,
But
they
they're
got-
more uniform. They're more uniform guys. I don't really see too many plain clothes. It's like when I do see a Hamilton cop in plain clothes, like we kind of give each other that smile because a lot of us know each other. Like whether it's Clarence, whether it's James, or whether it's Quincy. Like I had to name all three black guys on the Hamilton police. I had to name all three
Gotta
black
be,
guys:
right?
James, Clarence, and Quincy. It's funny. It looks hilarious to see them like in regular. Like I remember I pulled up on side of Quincy and he had like this beat up Honda Accord, and I'm like pulling up next to him like in my big car. And I look over and do the double take. I'm like,
When's the last time you seen him?
Top Cop Quincy. That
the last time you
was a
seen him?
while. That was a while ago.
When's the last time?
Oh goodness. I want to say, gotta be over a year.
Oh, I don't think he has an old.
Nah.
car
No. I know Quincy. Quincy got plenty of cars. He got an ice cream truck, all of that stuff.
Yeah, I was just gonna say.
But
it's
it
racist stuff.
looked hilarious to like look over there and I'm like, hey there, little guy. Hey, little guy, what are you doing over there, plain Joe? Like, I can talk mad smack because I got that relationship. I know him, man. We was neighbors for a long, stayed directly across the street. And shout out to him for he's so high up in rank. I don't think you can get no higher than what he is there. And to be a black dude on the Hamilton police force and be like one of the top cops, like he gives them orders. But that was a humbling experience for him. I pulled up next to him. He had a raggedy
At one
car.
time, he was basically the cops, the mayor's bodyguard at one time.
Yo, he was in the paper for hitting the dude with the jiu-jitsu. He went into a house. It was a break-in in progress. He made the paper, and I knew he did the martial arts. His son, shout out to his son. He looked like Nipsey Hussle, little Quincy. And like other than that, good people. You know what I mean? Like very, very, very good people. It's crazy how we even met each other because they stayed across the street. We didn't even know he was a cop. And my mom. All right, well,
Sometimes you never know who's your neighbors, man.
Listen,
let me tell you.
They on my porch getting right, getting busy.
Some of my neighbors, that I know that were cops. I mean, some are, Mayor Soul, rest in peace, was an excellent cop. Was one of my neighbors. And I'm saying, kept me out of trouble. But
Yeah. Quincy came over. When he walked over to the house, he was like, "You guys know I'm a cop, right?" And him and my mom kind of had this standoff. She's like, "Whatever," like so. But it was like after that, they became cool. He'd come over, to the cookouts, whatever the case may
I
be.
was like, whatever. So
yeah, cause I mean,
who cares?
it's like don't look at my porch and be like, oh, a bunch of people over there. So it's like, no, we hardworking citizens. We're here on purpose. We moved to this house because we work hard. But we got that understanding. Other than that, it wasn't no bad blood. Between us and nothing. And cool dude, man, funny dude. His son is awesome. We worked together, for a little while. Same thing with Trenton police force. I went to school with a lot of these dudes.
Listen,
Hey, listen. Let me tell you something.
I went to school with some. I went to school with some of the guys.
Let me tell you, man, about
Hamilton.
Jamar Booker and Chris Mundenham, man. Don't think these dudes don't know the streets. Jamar is from the section. We grew up together. In the 80s. You know what I mean? So, like, this is a person, and he still stays smack dab right in the hood.
Yeah, there's a good amount of friends in the police force.
I don't want to put Jamar
both Hamilton, Trenton, State,
listen,
and corrections. You know, and
that's a true story.
I'm not gonna forget also my boys in the fire. You know, firefighters.
This is a true story right here. I lied to you not. Jamar, man, listen, if anybody know him, don't tell him this because I'm throwing him under the bus. But when Tony Mack came in and he did the layoffs, Jamar was one of the dudes that got laid off. I mean, he back now. He one of the ones they brought back. Man, I'll never forget, before Jamar was about to get laid off, Jamar said, if I get laid off, he said, I'm going back to the section and selling crack. That was the realest thing I had ever heard. And it came from a cop. And he took it back to the street. He was like, he was like, man, F that, bro. If I get laid off, man, I'm going back out the section, man. I'm selling crack, bro. He was like, I already know the back streets. I know when the cops did it. And I'm like, I'm just sitting there with my mouth dropped. Because I'm like, nothing can stop him from doing that if he wanted to go rogue. Like, if that happened. But he got transferred to, like, East Orange or something, and then they brought him back in. You know what I mean? But I had never heard no cop talk like that before. That was the first time ever. The first time.
There was a couple. I know there's a couple cops that were laid off and found different jobs in different areas.
They ain't go back to the hood, sell no crack. I'm gonna tell you that one right now.
No.
But it's like, what could stop you? You know all the plugs. Like, you got the got the street respect. Like, yeah, that was like some movie stuff right there. Like that new movie that's out, Black and Blue.
Real quick. I gotta talk about Trump. I have to. You know damn well I hate talking.
You had the constipated look just now.
Right, like, oh,
like, damn.
I got
it's like a pulling a tooth.
One of the funniest things that happened, well, one of the most serious things that happened with Trump is that supposedly Abu Baghdadi, the head of ISIS, supposedly wasn't killed. Supposedly, the Americans, armed forces, I guess the Navy SEALs, Marines, whoever was there with some specially trained dog, they tracked him. They knew they got some intelligence. They knew where he was at. They chased him, and supposedly Abu Baghdadi detonated they called it a best bomb. Because when you take a vest, you add a bomb to you make it becomes a best. Yeah, it's not a B, not a vest. Becomes a best.
It's not the best now. He's in bits. It should be called a bit.
He took 3 of his children with him, and supposedly Trump said he was whimpering and running like a crying like a like a coward. I gotta say, I don't think that he could get elected on just that. So I hope he doesn't think that that's his ticket to win. Because conveniently, he was killed a little bit before the election. Or this election. He's not going for it.
I see what you're saying.
He's got another year.
I see what you're saying, though.
But I don't want it to be used as a political motive to say, hey, I got him, I'm going to win this election.
Right.
Because, listen, Abu Baghdadi did not threaten. I mean, yeah, of course, he hated us. But he was not indirectly going to attack us. He was just saying, hey, go attack these people. But it was kind of hard for ISIS to kind of march to America because you need planes, you need boats, you know what I'm saying? So the American people as a whole were never indirectly, threatened under direct threat. Because ISIS is over there, ISIS is over there, and we are here. Of course, the cells, terror cells can come in and threaten us, but our threat is this country's economy, this country's infrastructure, this country's, division among us. I mean, that's our concern. That's the threat to us as a society. You know, our foreign policy is in an all-time low. It's I mean, everybody hates us, so that should be our concern. I mean, not Abu Abda, whatever his name is. I mean, granted, he was a terrorist. You know, probably number one FBI wanted list, or one of the top 10, top 3, whatever. It was $25 million on his head. All right, whatever. Somebody's getting paid. But the bottom line is, we should be worried about us right now. You know, yeah, you know, if you get him in your sights, take a pop shot at him, take him out, whatever. But you know what? Our main concern is this infrastructure, this state, this country, and the state that we are in. Not the state, you know, as 50 states. I'm talking the division amongst the people. You know, we got Nazis growing in our backyards. That's the real threat. That's the real national threat right there. That's a terrorist. That's a terrorist. You know, like that's a terrorist. Group right there. You know, because it terrorized people. But again, our economy sucks. It should be better. It needs to be better. And I don't want people to say, "Oh, you know, Trump this, Trump that." Listen, if you went to a World Series game as a president, you should be applauded. You should be applauded. If you're the president of the United States, you should be applauded when you're at a baseball game. You know what they shouted at the World Series game? Lock him up. They chanted, "Lock him up." He left. That's embarrassing. That's embarrassing. You know.
I'm gonna tell you like this, man. Yo, if
So
your kid come knock on my door dressed as Trump, he ain't getting.
I hope that he doesn't think that that's gonna get him another win. So I hope that he understands there's still a lot of work to be done in the United States. That, you know, he's under investigation for possibly being impeached. So whether it's the Democrats or the liberals or the Republicans or whoever all is helping or doing this to him, there's plausible evidence for treason. You know, mismanagement of things. You know, who listen. He's not running the White House the right way. We all know his meltdown hurt of his volatile, thinking. And that is my only, I gave 5 minutes to that. Was it 5? Yeah, it wasn't even 5 minutes. But I had to touch base on that.
Hey.
Because I felt it needed to be addressed in a way. Oh, by the way, my Eagles won. I'm happy. We needed that win.
All right.
We really needed that win. And the Astros look to appear to be winning the World Series. I don't know if they're playing right now, but I'm gonna check. See.
I requested this song.
You requested this song?
Mm-hmm. I requested this song.
What is this song?
Because it was the end of the second to last episode of Power.
Say it again.
This was This was at the very end of the second to last episode of Power. This is when Keisha was about to turn informant, and Tommy was about to propose to Keisha.
Wait a minute.
But Keisha got killed. She got killed before she could escape.
Isn't Power supposed to be a show about the music industry?
No, not at all. Power is about drug lords mainly, and one of them is trying to go legit with legal businesses and everything.
So really, it's really about. Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Now I got
Empire.
it.
Thank you. Empire is about the music business. Power is 50 Cent created Power.
Okay,
so stars. And
you see, I'm totally lost to.
And Ghost or Tommy are like us. They're like brothers. Almost like childhood friends, but they're heavily into the drug game, kingpins, and their ladies and their families are intertwined with it.
Maybe I might have to.
Now Tommy's new girl turn informant because she cracked under pressure. And he didn't know. And he was about to propose to her. He was going to propose. And, his friend Ghost, his girl got to her, before, anybody else could and found out that she was going to tell. They got into a little scuffle, kind of fought over the gun. Keisha got the worst of it. And instead of...
All right, no, wait a minute. Let's not do people justice here. Let's not tell...
Oh, yeah, because
maybe somebody didn't watch it
now,
and they're going to...
That was the second to last episode. I don't want to explain the last episode.
Maybe somebody didn't watch the second to last episode, so don't tell them.
That cat is out the bag that she's dead. That cat is out the bag, and a lot of people are glad that she's dead. But this in particular song soundtrack made them feel extremely sorry for Tommy for losing her, for the fact that he was just about to marry her, and Tommy and the son were about to walk in the house where she died at. But the son was fortunate enough not to see her. Tommy got a chance to see her before, her son could.
All right, and, I can't relate because I don't know the show,
and which is why I don't even want you to go back 1,000 seasons.
But I would not go back. I'm
so mad we can't catch up on Power.
Sometimes I can't. The last time I don't watch a lot of TV. I do a lot of research. I don't watch too much TV. I watch the only shows I watch. I watch The Good Doctor. I don't know if you've heard of the Good Doctor. He's a mentally challenged, or not mentally, a little handicapped in a way. But he's a genius doctor. Like he could, in his mind, he can just put two and two together and.
Is it a reality show or a series show?
This is a show on. This is not a reality show. This is a show on TV.
Right.
And that's one of the shows I like. It's one of my favorite shows. Chicago PD. The cops. The undercover. The secret. The unit.
The operative missions.
Yeah, the unit. The I don't know the special unit that goes and they commit they fight crime together.
You like that show?
Yeah, I like those type shows.
I like Godfather of Harlem, man. Godfather of Harlem is good because it's about Bumpy Johnson and everything is based on true events.
I should watch that because that I would like.
Listen,
you remember the show Boardwalk?
Yeah.
Well, that is I lost interest in Boardwalk when one of the main characters they killed him off, but I kind of finished the whole entire series. I liked it because it was historical fact.
That was kind of spinning off after Sopranos.
Yes, and no. Sopranos was 2007.
I watched every episode.
And Boardwalk Empire was probably 2010.
I remember his cousin, Tony's cousin,
maybe 2010.
transferring from Sopranos to that for Boardwalk Empire, and Tony killed that cousin.
Yeah.
I see he went to work.
I mean, he didn't.
It was definitely life after death.
Yeah. Steve Buscemi, excellent actor, underrated. He played a hell of a cousin to, Tony Soprano, and he played a hell of a Nucky Thompson. Yeah. You know what I'm saying? So you saying Bumpy Johnson? I know this. The history of the,
that whole Harlem,
if
Bumpy Johnson, Lucky Luciano.
I read a lot of extensive, of the old, wars of the Al Capone stories, the Meyer Lansky stories, the Luciano.
Bumpy was something special.
Bumpy,
as a black man back then, they couldn't touch Bumpy unless they actually had a mob boss meeting. So he was accepted by the five families.
There was a lot of those type of guys. They weren't exactly what made Lucky Luciano such a great mastermind. And I'm not trying to say, he's great because I'm trying to say he was a great mastermind. It's putting this intricate web of different crime families in different towns. And, you know, as these mob families took over towns, they were moving on different territory. So as Lucky Luciano or this person was taking over let's say Lucky Luciano was taking over this one particular territory, and this one little territory there is run by a black gangster. You know, a bootlegger. The same thing as Lucky, except he does his own things. Well, there's a story in Chicago. There was a mob boss that was doing so and taking over territory, and it was this particular guy, and he was really strong. And this particular guy went up to him and said, "Listen, you know, let me buy you out, you know, completely, because I don't want us to have any quarrels."
Yeah.
If he didn't say yes, they were going to kill him. But the fact he said, "I'll sell to you. I'll sell you my whole entire operation." And he sold his whole, you know, they created a numbers thing. There was a lottery.
Yeah, the numbers racket.
That the Italians or other gangsters or the Jewish didn't create. It was started in the hoods,
Right.
by blacks. Blacks started that numbers game. Then, you know, so the Italians just took over it, and they applied it multiple times.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, of course.
So
of course.
That's
That's all true accounts, all true facts, bro.
You can fact check that.
All true facts.
I don't know the guy's name, but that's true fact that this one particular gangster went up out of respect and said, "Listen, you either gonna have to sell me, and I'll buy you. I'll outbuy you more so. You know, like I'll pay you and I'll overpay you to leave, to retire. If not, this is not gonna be happy for you." And out of respect, the guy said, "I don't want to sell, but you know what? I will sell.
Right.
In order for me to keep my money, and in order for me to keep my dignity and my sanity, I will sell."
The thing that separate things, because
And that was one smart gangster, man, because he didn't resolve to fight. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
I'm pretty sure. I'll take it back. They both had some. One guy would kill here. One guy, you know, they had skirmishes. We'll say, but they came to an understanding that they said, "All right, let's do this. Let's walk away. You know, let's do this the right way." So that's insane that we're talking about Bumpy, but Bumpy was probably inspired by the guy that I was just talking about. I don't know. I don't know. And I want to.
You gotta do the research.
Now I gotta
that.
Google who the guy is,
because Bumpy was definitely godfather of
New York,
of Harlem.
But listen,
thanks to Lucky Luciano with his help to take out Dutch Schultz and them. All all real names.
How many black dudes that were running their own neighborhoods that never got their recognition? How many Spanish dudes are running in their neighborhoods that never got the recognition like these guys? You know what I'm saying?
Yo, listen.
Shout outs,
bro. That was some interesting stories. They are. We might gotta do that for next week. We might gotta save that for next week.
Isn't that crazy? Now I gotta Google the name though. Shout outs, brother.
Shout out to you, man. Shout out to Ruben. Shout out to Monk, man. Every staff on Hamilton Radio, man. Shout out to all of the shows that rock out, before us. Nobody's really after us, but all of the shows involved for this entity. Shout out to all my family. Shout out to all my friends. Shout out to anybody that tuned in.
Shout out to everybody that that I get to touch, talk to in life. Shout out to all the viewers around the world, locally, social media. We appreciate you guys tuning in. Keeping us driven. Shout out to my wife, my daughter, my son, and everybody that's a part of my life. I love you guys. Shout out to Hamilton Radio. Shout out to us. We're the Freestyle Freaks on HamiltonRadio.net. Shout out to Monk. Shout out to Ruben. Shout out to Gino. We're the Freestyle Freaks on HamiltonRadio.net. Thank you for listening to us. I am Rafi Rotten, also known as DJ Noise. This is Billy the Kid, and we're out. Till next week.
Y'all ain't got to go home, but y'all got to get the hell out of here.
But